Ladies and gentlemen, there isn't much Chicago news out there at the moment, but there was news just a few hours ago discussing the Chicago Bulls' plans for free agency and just exactly when their free agency period will start and when they're going to make the majority of their moves. And I thought it was a pretty interesting video to talk about because it kind of opens it to the Chicago Bulls fans as what they think that the Chicago Bulls will do and what they would do in free agency. So I'm opening this video up to you guys. This video is an open discussion about the Chicago Bulls free agency. So without further ado, let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls video in relation to the NBA free agency period, and more specifically about when the Chicago Bulls will try to aim to do majority of their business within free agency. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below as an open discussion, what would you sign in the free agency period for the Chicago Bulls, as well as what do you think the Chicago Bulls are looking for in free agency. It's a big thing in free agency at the moment. We do have a lot of cap space, and I do think we're looking to make some small moves for the Chicago Bulls to try and get us into a better positioning within the eight. Now, there's been a lot of talks about trades, a lot of talks about blockbuster trades, but from what I'm hearing, a lot of the situation is the Chicago Bulls are looking for structure and not necessarily a big move. And for me, that means that we're trying to get a very similar style of player to come and help the Chicago Bulls. Whether it's a star or a role player or someone that has potential, the Chicago Bulls are looking for someone that is going to give them structure and fit their persona instead of just going for a blockbuster big move type of situation. So the NBA free agency period is interesting. Now, according to Mark Stein, I believe, on Twitter, has come out and said the Chicago Bulls are looking to do the majority of their business at the beginning of the free agency period around November 20th, which is very key. Because if you guys don't know, the NBA draft is on the 18th of November. So it already looks like we have a plan in place to know who we're going to draft and who we're going to get in free agency, because they're so close together that the Bulls are looking to swoop in and do everything at the exact similar time to get as much time as possible to get this team to gel together. It's a very good scenario to be in with the Chicago Bulls, knowing what you're going after, knowing the players you're going to pursue and bringing them to Chicago. In my opinion, that is a very big indication of just how well structured this front office is, and it gives us a sigh of relief, a beautiful relief that the Chicago Bulls do have for knowing that at least this structure, whatever we decide that the best move is for the Chicago Bulls, whether you want people traded or you want to give people a chance, the front office have a clear and structured plan, and that plan is looking to be very well organized, and it also seems to be at the very beginning. So it looks like we've educated ourselves and we've given ourselves enough time to try and pursue the players that we want to pursue. It's a big thing, this is for the Chicago Bulls. It's not a major news story. It's not anything to do with firings or hirings, which, by the way, I should also tell you, I believe the Chicago Bulls did fire some scouts. So what do you guys think about that as well? Do you think the Chicago Bulls firing scouts is a big thing? To me, it just continues the process of changing. I don't think it's the biggest deal. That's why I didn't make a full video on it. But it is very interesting to see that the Chicago Bulls are still continuing their front office, their management, their coaching styles. Even until now, when everything seems to be sorted, we still manage to find ways to keep on improving. But this is about the free agency period. What do you think the Chicago Bulls will do in this free agency period? They're well structured. In my opinion, the Chicago Bulls are most likely going to keep the 4th pick, which means they either draft a point guard at the 4th pick, or they probably go after Denny, or if LaMelo drops to 4, there's a big indication we could go in that direction. But in free agency, what will the Chicago Bulls aim for? Because I've already talked about Derrick Jones Jr. I think Derrick Jones Jr. is one of the most important players the Chicago Bulls should be looking at. And hopefully we are looking at him, because I think he can add us so much more to that small forward position, that shooting guard position off of the bench, even if he's not going to be in a position where we need. If we draft Denny, I still think we should draft Derrick Jones Jr. I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. But I think there's no question the Chicago Bulls are looking for a point guard. Just because Kobe White, in my opinion, is seen as a scoring guard doesn't mean that we're not looking for a point guard, or at least a playmaker. And that could definitely be something that could be looked at. Because if you guys think that Kobe White is a point guard, I 100% agree with you that Kobe White's a point guard. And I think he's a good enough point guard to play and start. But the bench is interesting in terms of our point guard position, because we have a lot of point guards, but we still don't know which ones are good enough to play for the Bulls, if any of them are good enough to play for the Bulls. So the interesting concept of signing a point guard that can start on occasion, but can also come off of the bench and give us a good playmaking position is something that I don't think the Chicago Bulls are ever going to rule out. We want a playmaker. I think that's extremely knowledgeable amongst a lot of NBA fans and Chicago Bulls fans. We want a playmaker. And if we can get that from the draft, that's great. But I do think free agency is another option where we can get a point guard or even a combo guard that knows how to play make. And I think it's very interesting. Keep your eyes out on some point guards that's on their way to Chicago if there is a possibility. So I would say let's go through some of the point guards, but there are a lot out there in this free agency period. None of them are big, outstanding players. I mean, I think Goran Dragic is one of them, so that's a good player in my eyes. But yeah, there is a lot of NBA guards out there that can do the playmaking position very well. So let's see exactly what we could do with that point guard position off of the bench. Again, Kobe White should be starting. This is basically going back to last video. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But that bench is very questionable in terms of the point guard position. We feel like we have a lot of guards, and we do have a lot of guards, but are any of them at the top level and ready to actually play for this team if they're good enough at all? It's the big question mark here, and I think that that's what the Chicago Bulls will probably be aiming for, a playmaking point guard. That won't take Kobe White's position, probably won't start ahead of Kobe White, but it's definitely someone that can add an extra layer of offense onto this team, something different, variety. Again, we always talk about variety in the team. That is something that can give us the variety. So this is a short video. There is no real news besides that I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to give a quick update. There is obviously a lot of articles out there discussing the Chicago Bulls, but there's no real news. So if you guys want me to discuss anything in relation to articles out there, some articles are talking about how Zach LaVine has improved us. Some articles are talking about getting Aaron Gordon to the Bulls. Again, these are no real news, but they are articles. And if you want me to do more reviews or more opinion-based videos on this channel, then please let me know, because I think there's a bunch out there that I can react to in relation to the Chicago Bulls, but there's not that much pure news that is out there at the moment. It's all speculation, it's all trade rumors. When they're big trade rumors, I'd like to discuss them. Like Michael Porter Jr. was a big trade rumor coming out of an NBA analyst. So that is something that's key, and I think that's very important. And I want to discuss those things like that. But of course, not everything is going to be written in stone. So if you do want me to do reviews or do opinions, I did one earlier reacting to the most 16 ambitious trades for the Chicago Bulls. I want to do more content like that. So I'm going to try to do them. And if you guys like them, please drop a like. Please subscribe if you're new. I think I'm going to leave this video here, a quick update about the free agency period. We're looking to do things quick and early. We're looking to be well structured, well oiled, and get the most out of our time in free agency. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in another Chicago Bulls video, hopefully with a little bit more to talk about. But I didn't want to leave the Chicago Bulls fan base, which is majority of my subscribers, with no videos for a few days, because that would just be wrong of me to do. So thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Take care and peace.